Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Euro Cooking Canuck. I hope you're all well, and thanks so very much for joining me. Guys, on today's segment of Memories of Macedonia, we're going to be a little naughty. This is certainly not diet food. Guys, what we're making today is called Djimirinki. And what that is basically pork cracklings. Now, it's very popular in the South Balkans, and it's also popular in the south of North America, and also in the Philippines. So this is kind of a global dish, but we love this in Macedonia, and we serve this usually with some pickled vegetables, some rakia, and maybe a bit of salad, grilled peppers. It's great with a beer or a glass of wine, and this is a great snack to have while you watch the game. So guys, without further ado, let's get in the kitchen and make these amazing but naughty pork cracklings. Hey guys, welcome to the kitchen countertop. The ingredients to this, I'm not even going to bother listing below because it's so simple. You need your pork fat, water, and some salt. That's it. Guys, what I have here, slanina, which is basically a bacon. Now, you want the rind and fat. There may be a bit of meat on the bottom. That's fine, that's good. If you can't find something like this, like a pork belly perhaps, or you can do it, what you can do is cut this off of a raw ham, not that spiral ham or cooked ham obviously. So you're going to want the skin or the rind and the fat. Now the difference between pork cracklings and pork rinds is the crackling has the fat. The rinds are just the skin. So guys, in order to cut through the skin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these in the freezer just for a little bit until they get firmed up a bit so I can cut these into cubes. And once that is done, I'll bring you back. Alright guys, I've let my pork fat firm up a bit in the freezer. It's not frozen. It's still pliable. So what I want to do now is it's easier to cut it if you pop it in the freezer for a bit. Put it the skin side down, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this quite easily into some strips. You can see how some of them have a bit of meat there. Right, so now that it's in strips, what I'm going to do is cut these into equal portions. So you're looking at about, possibly about an inch or so. This one's a bit bigger. They do shrink in the cooking, guys. So you want to keep that in mind as well. It's very easy to cut if you stick it in the freezer for just a bit. Alright guys, this is all done. We're just going to give this a little bit of a rinse and I'll be right back. Alright guys, what I've gone ahead and done is I've put all of our pork fat with the skin and meat in this pot, and I've filled it with water just to cover them. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on a high heat and bring this to a rolling boil. We want to render out some of the fat. The water will get a little bit murky, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get there. Alright gang, at this point in time, all of the water should pretty much be evaporated, and what you're left with is the oil from the actual pork itself, or the fat, as you can see here hopefully. It's that white stuff. Now if you continue, this will get clear and it will just be the pure oil from the pork, and you have an option. You can continue to make your cracklings in here, or do a different method. Now if you do them in here, it runs the risk of sticking and you have to be constantly stirring. So I'm going to turn my heat off and I'm going to show you what I do next. Alright guys, so what I've done is I've taken all my pork pieces and I've placed them on some paper towel on my cutting board. And what I want to do is try and get out as much of the excess moisture or water that's in them. So I'm going to use another piece of kitchen towel and I'm going to gently squeeze and press on the pork pieces. I don't want them to stick to the kitchen towel, so you might need to move them around a little bit, make sure they don't stick, and just continue this way. Now what I'm doing, guys, is I'm using another piece of kitchen towel and I'm gently squeezing the pork pieces. Traditionally, this would have been done in a long linen cloth, but paper towel works just as well. Just be gentle. Right, guys, so what I've done is after I've squeezed out all the water from my pork pieces, I placed it in a pan with plenty of oil. And I'm going to bring this up to temperature. So turn your heat on low and you're going to slowly cook these until they start to float and get a little bit of color and some crispy brown parts on the pork. So take your time. Alright, I have my splatter screen on because they may pop and hiss as you stir them. So let's take a look to see where we're at. Now they're slowly going. And we're going to bring them up to temperature in the oil and make sure that they get some color on them. These have a little bit more to go, obviously, and you'll know because they'll start to float up to the top of the oil. So just keep an eye on them, keep stirring them, be careful, go slow, take your time, and make sure you use a splatter screen because it does pop and hiss once in a while. Alright gang, let's take a look at what we have here. As you can see, they've started to float to the top of the oil. There are some browning pieces here and there, and when you shake them, they're individual, they're no longer jiggly, and you can hear that they're crispy and dry. Now, you can continue going along this route until they get a little bit more brown, and then I'll bring you back and show you what we do then. Look at that skin, guys. Nice and bubbly and crispy, and they are going pop and hiss, and that's crackling. So I'm going to take these out, turn off my heat. We're going to put these again on some kitchen towel to soak up the excess oil. And I'll show you what we do next. We have one more step, guys, and then we'll be done. But just be careful because this is very hot oil, obviously. They smell great. Okay guys, so what I've done is I've poured that oil into a different pot and I'm gonna flash fry our cracklings now on a high heat. Now you can do these in batches or you can put them all in at once depending on how much you have. I'm gonna just gently put in a few, as you can see here, and then I will add the rest. The reason I put these in a different pot, guys, is it gives me a chance to drain that other oil if there's any black pieces or bits in there that I don't want in here. You can use the same pot if you'd like, just make sure you crank up the heat because now we're putting these on a very high heat and they do not take long, guys. Keep an eye on them. This isn't the time to walk away or to call a friend or check Facebook. Just keep an eye on them and they don't take long at all. Alright guys, our cracklings are done and I want to get these out of the oil as soon as I can before they start getting very black very quickly. So let's pull them out and let's enjoy these. So again, place them on a kitchen lined towel to soak up the excess oil, and if you like at this point, what you can go ahead and do is salt them. Now as you can see, they're crispy, they're crunchy, and they're not jiggly anymore. Alright guys, our pork cracklings are done. At this point, like I said, you can salt them if you like. Mine were actually salty. They're crispy and they're hard. And take a look at that crackling skin. Beautiful. It's so good, guys. The middles are nicely cooked as well. So you have the meat portion, you have the fat portion, and the skin portion. Now traditionally these are served with pickled vegetables, which I have here. And I also have some grilled red peppers over here, some black olives, some kashkaval cheese. If you like, you can get some bread. These are great served with a cold beer or a glass of crisp wine. And really, really enjoy these. It's great to sit back, watch the game or a movie, or even just to have these as nibbles when friends come around to call. Take a look at these. Who's going to pass them up? They're so beautiful. Nom nom nom. Now, this is something you don't eat every day, guys. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Year of Cooking Canuck. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and we'll see you next time on Year of Cooking Canuck. Few picks here, guys.